Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this evening's agenda. We have a few property tax issues to discuss. We'll be doing employee reviews. Well, the first one, Leslie Griffin. That was a public session we had 2 weeks ago when we met. Which we provided Ms. Griffin with a with a tax agreement based on what we received from town council. Did you get the email I forwarded yesterday?
There's a copy in here as well.
Yeah.
Well, the gist of it is that Ms. Griffin does not want to accept the tax payment plan that was proposed by council. So I think at this point we have to determine whether or not we tax deed the property or if there's alternatives we want to explore.
Question of procedure. Since the last session we had with Ms. Griffin was in public, do we continue in public or do we go into non-public
She
session?
requested that all topics concerning her home would be on the public docket. So we continue in
I
public.
have no problems
Yeah.
with that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure we were.
Yeah, that's how I viewed it, is she asked for it to be public, she came in,
I
presented.
would assume the same,
Yeah.
unless it was expressly requested otherwise.
My feelings are is that in the discussions we had and in the advice of counsel is that if the agreement was not either signed or adhered to, that we would go forward with tax deeding.
Right.
I agree with John. I think we should take a formal vote on that unless you have some contrary opinion. Or you believe it needs further discussion?
Well, that's why I raised it up, was if there was any further discussion on it than what we
I don't see.
have discussed previously, so.
I think we already determined our course of action. I think it's just a matter of a formal vote, unless we've.
Just to discuss further, not that, I'll say I'm probably in agreement that we should. The taxes are in arrears over $30,000. I think as we discussed, I don't see any way that that's gonna get paid back. Ms. Griffin just has not even addressed that in there. The only thing on the flip side that I don't know, and I don't think it would affect her, because if we go to tax deed, I believe she has a period of time that if she was correct in her presentation that the cause was by Eversource's faulty wiring and she was made whole, then she could purchase the property back. But in the meantime, if the town does take that property, we're going to be liable to secure the site or incur the cost of having the building demolished and then putting it up for sale. So first of all, we don't have any funds available that I'm aware of how we could demolish the building or cost to have the abatement done. That would have to happen before it could be demolished. So that building would be sitting there unless the town voted us funds for it.
Well, it sounds to me like it's either a budget item or a warrant article item to,
It would have to be a budget item. We can't, a warrant article is, if, you know, you won't see it, it's gonna be a budget item.
Okay.
It's gonna be a one-time budget item.
And the question is, how long does a tax deed process take through the courts? 'Cause a couple
I
months?
don't think it goes to the courts, just a matter of serving the notices. But when that happens, we're liable for the property.
Right,
Correct.
but I look at it as, we can at least come up with some way to secure off that property.
What you have in mind?
Anything better than a piece of yellow tape.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Well, I
But if
mean,
you put up
there's companies that
even temporary fencing around there, you're running
$3,000 to $4,000 for the duration.
$5 a foot. So if you're $1,500, $2,000,
Okay.
roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And where does that money come from? Another
We'll
question.
make it happen.
Yeah, yeah. It comes out of a budget, the operating budget. But then we have that sitting there until we have funds to do something with the property. Or whether or not you sell the property as it is. That's the other option, but
Right, I
that
mean-
could take a while.
Right, but I mean, you could put it on, sell it as is, and then you work towards that next step, but you put it up selling as is, and then it's in the next budget cycle that there's a line item to get it taken down.
All right.
But I'm not gonna be a hypocrite and tell Mrs. Griffin that she needed to get that thing secured, which is the obvious thing she needs to get. Because in all reality, we're very lucky we haven't been approached by the neighboring town, because it's actually closer to their center of town than anywhere near our center of town. It's also much closer to where children from their town will congregate more than children of our town. So I'm not gonna be a hypocrite and tell her she needs to do it and then we deed it and ignore it. Or not deed it and continue to let it happen. Continue to let it sit like that, because it's very obvious in her letter, she has no intention of securing that property for the safety of anyone. So I say we deed it, we find $2,000 somewhere, and we make that happen, and then I think selling as is, and then put it in the next cycle to get it taken down.
I think that's a plan, John.
David, don't you have to wait so many years to sell it? I'm not sure how that works.
I know that's why I was saying that
Is
if
that
she was
time?
hold, it was
Yeah.
a 3-year period. And I think that's why if somebody were to purchase it, they would have to have that understanding, is that if the person did come back, they could pay.
I thought it had more to do with the money involved. If it sells within 3 years, and say she owes $30,000.
No, there's also a buyback period depending
Yeah.
on, and I'm not sure whether New Hampshire is one of those states that allows it or not.
It is, that they have it, that they can, but I think what you were alluding to, John, is that if the town, let's just say there was a house on there or whatever, and let's just say the town sold that land for $40,000.
She gets 10.
She gets whatever the balance is of what she's owed on taxes, less the amount that the town has incurred.
Right. Yeah. Taxes plus fees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
which I don't think that's gonna,
No, but
wants to stick the neck out before the time is expired.
I think it's 3 years.
Yeah, that's a long time to sit on it.
Yeah. So is there a motion on the floor?
Motion to proceed in tax deeding of,
380.
the house, Mrs. Griffin's property on Greenville Road. Get it secured and then proceed with the next steps.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Should we at least do Mrs. Griffin the courtesy of letting her know? Or
Oh, the whole tax deeding process will.
yeah, well, that's kind of an ugly way to let somebody know when they service. Yeah,
She was on the docket.
okay.
Police station. Last time. There was something missing on this list. Town administrator.
I think I have it under non-public. Don't
It's way down there in pencil, I thought.
I?
Oh. Thank you. It's only water. When we met with the contractors and developers and engineers regarding the police facility, they gave us, a dozen or so items to address and be able to explain to the people, but we need to keep this ball rolling. So I'd like to know what your thoughts on what's our next step gonna be to.
Well,
That was you.
Yep, one of them. It was an email. You should turn your phone off in a meeting. No,
Totally done.
No, I found a thing. It's not 3 years.
How long was it?
It's really, you have to give them 90 days, and they have after that. But the buyback is not. As far as I could read in that article, the buyback is not for 3 years. That's New Hampshire Municipal Association.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I read. Basically, it says
You
90.
read awfully quick. 'Cause
I
it
do.
would've taken me longer than that to
I'm good.
thoroughly research.
Well, luckily, what it is it's not. It's a frequently
Cliff
asked
Notes version?
questions. Yeah, it's frequently asked questions.
Okay.
So it makes it very simple.
Was it up to date?
Yep.
Good.
So.
I'll read it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Stop making my phone ring.
I think as far as I think the nice part about it is that we did have a very good amount of very informed people here that thought we were doing the right thing as far as what we had chosen for a building. That was nice to hear. That, I mean, yes, could you build, I think it was Mr. Somro, Nate Somro who was here?
In the front?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Lamping.
Okay. But, I mean, yes, he built, yeah, you could build a pole barn, but then that doesn't take into account all the special things you have to do inside. So I think you're not gonna, you try to go a different route, you're not gonna save any money because you're still gonna have to do all the other things inside. So I think that was good. As far as what the next step is, that I don't know. I mean, what other information do we have to get out to them? I believe they had.
What I had on the list here that we had discussed with them, excuse me, somehow in our presentation that we would be looking for the bond for the police station, and that there was no intention to come up with future projects with bonding.
Mm-hmm.
Show how the master plan of the fire station could go there in the future. Explain why the building 2 does not work, and I think that one there we've explained many times, but
Yeah,
we
but
can
maybe putting it on
continue that.
paper.
Yeah. Advocate that emergency management would be in the building. Explain the use of the fund balance for the proposal. Look up grants. One of the, excuse me, on my way that evening when I was leaving, one of the items that some of the gentlemen that were still out in the parking lot thought we might pursue is, in order for reducing costs, is not to do the second, not to revise the entrance until a later date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The driveway entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that, and I guess one of my concerns was pedestrian safety, and whether or not it would work adequately if we postponed that portion of the project. I mean, the site work, I think we're talking almost $300,000, never mind the building. I think that was the number you came up with.
I don't remember what the site work value was, but when, even now, if you just come in and you're going down there, once you get just past this upper parking lot, that pavement down there now is in tough shape if there's any there in the first place.
Yeah, like $395 just for site work.
Yeah. But then again,
But I mean, again, it's unfortunate that, I mean, we're looking out. So these bonds are in January of 2020, which we won't make it. Which is too bad, because even at 25 years, topping out at 2.7. So there's opportunities that we could, if they don't change drastically, we could get this at a really nice rate. So
Well, I don't know. I mean, I had anticipated rates going up, and I actually read an article the other day where a bank in Denmark's offering negative interest rates.
well, they've been doing that for years over in Japan or China or whatever, and it's like, those are different issues they have there.
I guess.
yeah. So I don't know. Is this something we should write up and get posted on the website as a document?
Well, we got three
Well,
possibilities.
the other thing, just
Mm-hmm.
let's keep the discussion going before trying to come up with where we're going to go. But one of the other items that somebody had suggested was, not at the meeting, but previously, was to try and get a volunteer group that would have the ability to promote this. And I think I asked you to check with one of the people that
Yes.
was recommended. I didn't know how you made out.
She's been very busy. I've not had a chance to sit down and speak with her about
Okay.
it. She'll be back in town first week of September.
But that may be another avenue for reaching out to different groups. I think that was one of the suggestions that one of the participants had made also. Because we can keep holding, open houses at the police station or having forums, but I think we're drawing on the same base
Yeah,
of people.
we're-
Somehow we've got to get the message out.
We're singing to the same choir.
I think to take that plan that we currently have that shows the police station and drawing in the future fire station just to show that it works would be an easy thing to do. And we can include that in whatever type of presentation that we provide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a shaded area to,
Yeah,
Show another
future.
building and
Right.
label
Just
it
some sort of
future, just to
overlay.
show that it works. And,
yeah.
I'm not so convinced on postponing the entrance drive.
I think, I don't like it. I mean, I don't know how it was going to be divided. Whether it was islands or,
Yeah, there was an island.
Yeah,
okay,
median strip, if you will.
yeah. I mean, if there's, some other way to do it that would save money, but I think anything else you do to try to save money is gonna make it an eyesore. Like, if you try to do some sort of
I don't think
temporary
it's
barrier or
really
something.
that big of a cost thing. There's where the embankment is now would get filled and you put in an island, but it's
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
not talking a budget buster.
my preference is to make a mess just once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not real keen on it, because again, all you'd have to do is, again, have some real emergency and someone coming in while someone's trying to go out, and it's a bigger hassle than,
Yeah.
so. And I don't think it, like you said, I don't think that would really affect the cost significantly enough.
The other cost was that relocation of that utility pole, but someone had once told me that when it's a town pole, the utility company looks at it differently than if it's a private developer or someone that needs it, so. I could reach out to that gentleman that left me his card, for Eversource and see if they could at least start looking into it.
Yeah.
Provide an opinion, perhaps.
Yeah. Speaking of Eversource, came into town the other night and counted 5 lights out. Remember that we were contemplating at the high school, there was one on both sides of the driveway?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were out.
Nice.
I did ask Laurie to put on the front page of the website, report street layout, and it'll give a link right to Eversource, but I don't know what it is with the light bulbs around here, but
Target practice.
something.
No, because they don't come on till sundown, and you can't, you wouldn't go out at that time trying to do it. Actually, come on. Pretty late when Dave and I were out. We thought they'd be on already. They took forever to come on.
That's why when I came in, I was coming in Sunday night, and it was like 8:30. It was dark, and I'm like, "Why is it so dark along here?" And I'm looking. No, that one's out. That one's out. No. Even ones that they repaired
Really?
are out. Yeah. So now we get this plan and it shows the future fire station. What are we gonna do? I mean, we're
Well, I think,
essentially into September.
okay, you've already said we need to reach a wider audience. Um, The way we do that is we have to post something into the ledger. I mean, that's really our audience, or on the website. Those are the two things that reach out to people, unless you wanna try Facebook or,
Well, I think if you do it on the website and link it through Facebook, then you're really only doing one, and then Lori can link it up. But that's what I was saying, if we, because I felt most of the people here were informed voters, and
Mhm.
they, and even they had some questions I thought we had covered. So if we have to go back and cover those again, and maybe the presentation we had, kind of put that in a document format, bullet points or whatever, so it's easier to read, for those people who didn't want to watch the video, that we might be able to hit some of those things of, these are questions, and then if you have any other questions, please email it to, and boom, hit, put it, and give the people the opportunity to send us their questions, and hopefully that'll help.
but I think what we need is that some things people will go to. I mean, what we need to do is reiterate the facts about this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just, these are the facts, and either get it in the ledger and maybe duel it with the town website so that we reach the widest possible audience one more time, and then just before we get this thing on the ballot, hit it one more time.
Well, we will have the opportunity also for, you'll need to hold a public hearing for it since it's the bond article.
Okay.
And can discuss again at the deliberative session, but I think we've got,
Like I said,
because that's
keep it
what
out
one of
there.
the other people had said, is you've got to get the different groups out there to understand it
Mhm.
and buy it through, so.
Yeah.
There's a wide spectrum of people that,
Right,
you know.
so, and I think if we do, I have no problem with Bert's idea of the paper, get
Yeah.
Ashley in here and ask her to talk with us or take the points, so see if they will. You get the website, and then you either link the website or copy onto Facebook, that gets a whole other group.
I was gonna ask if one of you two would volunteer to put together, cause I labeled it here, a fact sheet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try and get the drawing revised, and then we can also check, I'll check with Eversource.
If you can email me the presentation that you did, the PowerPoint presentation we did at the information night,
Yep,
if you can just email
Yeah.
that to me, because
Yeah.
that has a lot of facts on it. Take that, some of the stuff I can put together a fact sheet.
okay.
Yeah, and one of the things, John, the fact sheet should include is what we should ask ourselves is, what questions were asked at that session that the public did not seem generally aware of?
Right, I've got all those comments and questions in my notepad. That's why I figured it was easier for me to do it.
Okay. I'm gonna skip over right now the Komatsu loader issue.
Hi,
Uh,
my name's Reed. Joanne said it would be okay to come by and talk to you guys about my past due property taxes.
Yep.
You can have a seat, we've got a few things to go through
Yeah,
first.
no problem.
Okay.
No problem, thank you.
Uh, town planning, commercial district, town improvements. Those were two items that we discussed in the past, and they've kind of just sat there. One was, in the first part, commercial district, Bert, since you're the ex officio to the planning board, I'm wondering if that topic has come up and whether that shouldn't be a discussion for the
I
planning
think
board.
it's come up multiple times. In fact, I think the last petition was run 3-4 years ago to actually establish a commercial district, such that people who wanted to build a commercial facility here in New Ipswich would not have to go to the ZBA for approvals. It would be automatic.
Mhm.
And I think was soundly defeated by people who were concerned about changing the character of New Ipswich. I mean, we were talking mostly about the corridor right out front here, all the way pretty much from the fire station all the way out to New West Mall and maybe a little bit further.
But the board had been talking about trying to develop or potentially develop the land that the town owns as a commercial area.
Okay, that's a
Up-
different,
yeah, up at the
And that's what
land.
I'm saying, whether or not the discussion has been had with the planning board to get their thoughts, and
I will bring it up
Okay.
with John and we'll try to pursue the topic a little more.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, up at the former transfer station land,
Yeah.
or former town dump.
I'll bring it up and see if there's any interest in doing so. But, you know, I think it is a good location, and if we can make a few bucks out of it, so much the better.
I agree with the location. If the town can prosper by making it attractive for businesses, you know, it's a win-win. Town improvements, we had the UNH and Southwest Regional Planning come in to give us suggestions, opinions on things we can do. Is that something we're looking to tackle? Keep in mind, the next item down on here is budget season.
Mhm. I don't think it's something we can tackle going into budget season,
Yeah.
because we're gonna be, I mean, based on, I think it was UNH or one, I can't remember which one it was, where we'd have to have all these different meetings and everything else. I don't think it's a feasible time of year to try to do that.
It's something that shouldn't slip off our plate, but we need to push it to one side for the moment.
Like, if I recall though, we pushed it because it's summertime, then we hit budget season, so that's gonna leave us with a spring window. So,
And we're going to be very focused on our police station at that time.
Yeah, but I think that's part of it, in my opinion, is that, you know, if we wanna look at town improvements, I think the police station's part of it, and then maybe piggyback on that with that 25-year plan of where do we wanna see the town headed with improvements, a town common of some sort, or open space area.
Yeah, and just to kind of put an item on the do list is, I've been talking to John Schomloffel, our master plan, our capital improvement plan is 18 months old, and normally the RSAs require a 5-year update. We've been trying for a 2-year update, so back come January, February timeframe, we may want to request the planning board start the process once again for capital improvement, that report, that list that
I
they
think
put
we just
together.
got that one last year.
It was 2018, so we're in
Right, we're in
2019 now.
So my preference would be to see the planning board, and that's where I thought you were going, because you said the words, is to get the update on the master plan, because that goes back to the 80s. I know some sections have,
We have updated that.
but only I think
And-
there was probably.
No, and we did a lick and a prayer discussion on it in 2014. Tim Jones actually honchoed that. And basically, the board decided that it, as it was suitable. Now, what you're suggesting is, it's been 5 years, it needs to be looked at again.
I'm thinking it's been a lot longer than 5 years since that master plan has been updated. Matter of fact, I know it's been.
It has received the attention required by the RSA, which was a lick and a prayer. It has not been
It
updated.
has not been updated, and there are items in there that for example, if you familiar with it, it says that to promote businesses in town and whatnot, and I kind of link that back to this commercial district, well, you can't attract business in town when they have to go through variances to get their business here, and that, those are the types of things
Yeah.
I'm hoping they
Yeah.
can mesh together.
Yeah, attract businesses in town, but not that kind of business.
And not that we're going to, I think we've discussed this in the past, as we know it's a bedroom community, you're not gonna bring in, Home Depot and Market
Right.
Basket,
Yeah,
but,
it just doesn't
Yeah.
warrant it.
the small businesses that we can foster, I think.
Yeah.
Plus
Yeah.
for us.
Well, that's just, I mean, that's the kind of thing we, it seems like we have a restaurant in town and, but it seems like everyone we open is, or someone opens is struggles because people go elsewhere. So we need to find out what it is. Is it the locations that we allow them? Is that not convenient? Is that not inviting? So, yeah, find out where are the spaces where we could do that and it would be inviting and everything else that a business could be successful.
Yep. Well, Porter Hills Chocolates is a good example of that. They had intended originally to open it as a bed and breakfast, and then when they realized they couldn't meet the code requirements for an updated bed and breakfast, they're selling out. They got a purchase and sales agreement ready to be executed on the 20th of September, and they're gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was one of our nice little
that's-
cottage
yeah.
industries.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I think we could foster here as a bedroom community. It's nice. I mean, when you drive through and you pass the one that just you go into Jaffrey and blank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it the Prescott?
Yeah.
Benjamin Prescott.
Yeah.
You know, that one's nice. And there used to be the Applegate going into Peterborough. That one's closed. I think now they
Well, they
operate.
even closed the one that was in Sharon, Three Maples, was it?
Yeah,
The one right in the
yeah.
center, about Three Oaks or
Yeah.
three something.
Yeah, yeah. So I think those are the kind of things I think that really do invite people because you end up being able to stay here and then hit a lot of different areas that are going on, especially around the fall time when there's festivals happening every weekend in multiple towns. I think it's an opportunity and yeah, I think it's something we should be able to.
Well, I think what
To
we
work
could do
on.
is find a way to help people upgrade their infrastructure without breaking the bank. And that was the biggest problem, is they couldn't afford to put in the fire systems into a bed and breakfast. You know,
I don't think that building required it. The only thing that building had required previously, because the owner wanted to have it was a bed and breakfast.
it was at one point,
Yes.
yes.
But they wanted it to become a full restaurant, and I think the septic system needed to be upgraded. And
Yeah,
there's a cost to it, so.
Yep.
But I work with the gentleman that him and his wife own the Benjamin Prescott one, and I thought, really? Yeah, they make it work very well.
Yeah.
And when you think about what your options are in this area, some of them have closed, and the few that are open are doing well.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
And I know I've spoken with Tom from Monadnock Hospital, and they struggle to find places to put doctors and whatnot that come in that they need to provide them with a place to stay, and bed and breakfasts seem to be the mainstay around here. We don't have a Hilton, so.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of apartment complexes.
Well, I'm looking for the traveler, the people that would come. So
Well, so we just, an example for us, I mean, we have a wedding coming up just under a month away. People are staying as far away as Nashua and Keene to come in, and my daughter, she's got like 9 people or whatever, her wedding party, and the only place we could put 9 people, they're staying in Winchester.
No, yeah, okay, yeah, the
Jan-
other side,
Jan-
yeah, the
yeah.
other side, yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's like
thinking Winchester, Mass.
no, it's like a
but
45-minute drive.
Still a drive.
Yeah.
Because the only other option was to spend 3 or 4 times as much and get 3 rooms at the Monadnock Inn.
I was thinking, what's the other one there in Peterborough on 202, Jack?
The Jack Daniels, they didn't have enough rooms
I'm thinking
available.
Jack Russell, Jack Daniels.
It's the
that's
Jack
what it is.
Daniels, yeah. Yeah, so it is. It's one of those things that there's an opportunity for it, but are we fostering it? And like Bert said, are we helping to make it and understand and see what we can do? Not that we want to shirk any responsibilities that we have, but at the same point is, are we making it welcoming for people to come in and have an opportunity to do that? Because I think that, I said Porter Hill, I think that would have been an amazing location for a nice little bed and breakfast here in town.
I agree.
Well, it used to be.
Right.
I'm trying to think, do you remember what the name of that was?
That was prior to me. It was closed by the time I moved here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost their grandfather or some such.
No, they just, because it was bed and breakfast, and they also had a gift shop,
Yeah.
you know, like country type
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
The 2020 budget planning, have we received anything from Bob on who's been appointed for the FAC?
They're all appointed, I mean, they've all been appointed, yes, and so
Okay.
they're all ready to go.
When do we want to have the department heads with their budgets ready?
Sooner than later.
Yeah, every time, it's right down to the
Yeah,
last minute.
I don't want to, yeah. Because, I mean, this is the first year where we have that opportunity to not have to wait for somebody else to look at it and answer it back to us
Yeah.
and everything else in quite a while. I mean, we get their recommendations, but, which is nice, but.
So are they gonna go with the FAC first?
We'll do it together.
Oh, we're gonna do it
Yeah.
together?
Yeah.
And here's a suggestion too, with those departments that have a very small budget, where we're talking only a few $1,000s, we should, sometimes it's, you know, they don't even wanna bother to defend it, they just want the same budget they had last year. Do you wanna see every department head or every chair, or can some of them pass?
Why would they pass?
Because it's not worth the fight.
Yeah, but some of them, again, it's one of, they asked for the same budget, but they've only spent a third of what they asked for. Why should we give them the same budget?
I understand that.
You know?
A lot of it's contingency money, really.
There is no contingency money. Would October 15th, in your opinion, be too early?
I think it's a great idea.
By the 15th. Tuesday.
Yeah.
So just start scheduling like we always do.
But tell them to have their budgets completed by the 15th, and then we can schedule between October and November.
So you're saying have everybody's ready by October 15th and
Yeah.
then just spread it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that way they're, if everybody has their budget ready and we can collect all of them, we can be reviewing some of them while others are presenting. So just, if you could let them know, because they're not presenting until later, doesn't mean they can push the budget till then, because we'd like to have them, and that way they're with the FAC, I'm thinking we can give them a packet and say, here, just, you can start looking at that, and we'll schedule the department heads.
So then when do you wanna start scheduling?
Right after the 15th.
So the 22nd?
Yeah, yeah. Is that? Or,
Yeah. It's different, but it'll work.
anything else you wanna see for that budget?
Just normal stuff, defend your budget. I mean, yes, everyone seems to start with their prior year budget and go, but it is supposed to be a zero. You start, you build your budget, you don't repeat your budget. So I just like to see the budgets defended properly.
Heard anything?
And back up. No more just a one sheet.
Other than, isn't there a budget education program, scheduled for the 18th of September? I don't know if anybody's going to that. I think it's like a Wednesday or something.
Budget hearing for public
No,
officials?
no, it's, yeah, it's
A
the
seminar, yeah.
seminar, yeah. I don't know.
Hopefully our department heads are already well versed on how to prepare a budget.
Maybe the FAC might wanna go. Could they go?
Sure.
Is it free?
No, it's $90 a head or $100 a
Oh.
head.
It's not in their budget.
Yeah.
That's not shit. I'm gonna deny education.
I was waiting for that. Okay. Any other new or old business to
I
discuss?
just got one
Besides-
little small items. Attended the Conservation Commission last week, and they finished with their water survey. They sent out 104 requests for water testing. 15 people actually said, yeah, you can come and test the water. Most of it was pretty good. There was just one that had a high coliform, i.e. sewer getting into their well, and everybody received their results on that. And the other thing that the Conservation Commission is doing is monitoring their conservation easements. They're trying to set a protocol in place to do a regular yearly check of the areas.
So going back on the water testing, which is 15 out of 104 people had their
Had their-
water tested, and
There just one came back with high E. coliform, and they were informed of it. Everybody got their results. And it was surprising that so many people turned them down because the town or the Conservation Commission was paying the tab.
well, I'm one that turned it down, because I just had it tested by the state last year, so,
All right, so you're all set.
yeah.
I think it's just one of those things, like, just like anything else. Why do you want to come to my property and stick stuff in my well?
I don't think they wanted to stick anything in the well. They
Yeah.
wanted to take it out of the tap.
Come on. Nope.
Alright.
All of a sudden you put, my well's been fine, now it's got E. coli in it. What'd you stick in my well?
Anything else, Bert?
No, we're finished with delusional paranoia.
I'm just saying.
No, we're
come on.
not.
I'm just saying how many people, like, everything was fine.
Alright.
All right, I have this. So we have, the fire department has gone through, and we can now be certified as a heart-safe town for the work that all our departments have done, how many AEDs we have per capita, and all these different things. The fire department has gone through and filled out the application, and we would get very much like the Purple Heart community and things like that. We get the recognized as a heart-safe community. We get commendation and signs, and we get put, and it doesn't cost us anything.
No signs. No signs. We have more signs up in this town.
Well, that's only because we keep sticking them on new poles. I thought the idea of putting them all on the one sign was a great idea. Put it up very nicely on the sign that was there. But you wanted them on a separate sign. It
You
just
have
looks
to
weird.
replace
just
the
stick.
targets to make it interesting.
So, but your signature needs to be on that, and then Joanne is able to mail that in. I think it's a great idea. again, it puts our,
Anything with signs, I'm gonna,
well, we don't have to
Alright.
put the signs
We
up.
don't have
We're gonna
to?
get the signs, we don't have to
Okay.
put them up. Or you can put them, they can put them up on the fire station, the ambulance, or whatever,
there
just
you
saying
go.
that.
Perfect, that'd be a
There you
perfect
go.
place for it.
But we get the signs and they're gonna come and they'll shake your hands and, you know, all that goodness and, you know.
We'll let you be there.
Yeah.
You can be our representative.
Now they do a weird handshake though when they do it. They kind of pulse a little bit when they shake your hand. It's kind of very odd.
Ah,
Sharing the love.
how many AEDs do we have?
We have one here, right? We got one at the church. We got one at all the. We have multiples at the schools. I don't know.
But Joe Smith has a heart attack at home.
Huh?
We're still waiting for that ambulance to get there, right?
Could be, but if he has it
Although-
somewhere out in public,
Do the cruisers still have them?
I believe they do.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Hayes, you're
Yes.
coming in to talk about
Past due property tax.
past due property taxes.
Yes.
Typically, we would handle that in a non-public session,
Okay.
unless you want it to be public.
I think we're good.
Non-public?
No, I mean, yeah, I don't know, what's the difference between public and non-public
Right now, we're being videoed and on camera.
Oh, okay.
And typically, by the law, we're allowed to go into a non-public session to discuss with you.
I guess I would prefer not to be broadcast.
It's your option, sir. You know, we prefer to give you your privacy and
Thank you.
respect
I
your.
appreciate that. Thank
All right. Motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A3